We're talking, I guess we can say it legally, right? The the FIFA World Cup,
World.
the biggest spectacle. I'll introduce him in just a second. The co-host of this debacle, you might want to say, of this show. We really appreciate all you that are tuning in, and so far so good. Exciting days of the World Cup. The first friend I want to introduce is Jabulani. Do you know who Jabulani is? Yes, the official ball of what World Cup? I think you can read it there. The 2010 World Cup held in South Africa. One of my favorite balls, one of the more colorful balls. This is an honor in many ways of the DR Congo that's in Houston, where we are based out of. And we'll be playing tomorrow rather, in a very important match. You heard him there a little bit, and that's just the magic of live events. When are we bringing him in? The one and only Victor Araiza. Victor, how are you? First of all, good evening, good night. How are you?
Doing well. The day has finally arrived. Well, nearly. When we have Portugal and Cristiano Ronaldo here in Houston, Texas, I believe. I was thinking back. It has to be the first time he's played in this city. I can't.
I don't think.
I can't recall another time.
There was
it's a long time coming for some of these people that are CR7
Victor,
fans.
There was an event years ago, if you remember. We've talked about this at NRG Stadium, at Houston Stadium, where they brought in a promoter, brought in literally all the stars of world soccer. This is already maybe at least 10, if not 15 years ago.
Yeah, the free kick challenge, but I don't know if he was part of that back then.
I know Messi was there.
Messi was there,
Messi was there for sure.
Ronaldinho and Rafa Marquez.
I just don't know about CR7. That's a very good question.
Yeah, well, if he was, that was a long time ago, but I can't. Yeah, like I said, I was trying to think. Because he didn't come here with Manchester United. He didn't come here with Real Madrid. And certainly not with Juventus or Al Nassr. But tomorrow he'll be there in arguably his last World Cup, unless he finds a way to keep it going for another 4 more years. For that reason, again, I think there are people willing to pay over $1,000 to see him in a World Cup. One where potentially they'll be going for the title, and it's kind of the last chance. So we'll see.
Look, we're talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, who is in Houston already. We'll talk about a little bit about that. We'll also recap some of the games, or 3 of the 4 games, by the way, because there's one more game in today's schedule. Why don't we take a look real quick, Victor, at the groups in general as we kick off this sixth day of our coverage here on what we are now calling Live at Night Soccer Talk.
Is it really 6 days now?
Yeah, but can you believe it already? They all blend together.
Count. It's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun.
Well, yeah. Well, we're definitely having fun. I don't have any doubt about that. So I think that's one of the many intriguing factors of all of this. So, friends, we want you to participate. If you have questions, comments, we're on live on, I'm being told, on X, on the Facebook for us old people, and then on the YouTube channel. So if you want to chime in, you have a question, I know Victor will be monitoring. And I think it's maybe a place to start, Victor, like we always do before we get into our opinions of the matches of today. And as I mentioned, 3 out of the 4 are complete. The stars were out today. Literally, we'll talk about that. And then the last match of the evening, Austria versus Jordan, taking place out in the West Coast, the San Francisco Bay Area. Santa Clara officially is where the stadium is. That's Levi's Stadium, right, Victor? Can I say that on the air? Someone's gonna get mad at me.
Yeah, they covered it up, and some people say it looks kind of like a diaper, but Levi's took that like an illustration of their logo covered and put it up as their profile picture, I think, on social media.
You might as
well.
They're
playing along.
Yeah, playing along, maximize. Look, we can all get into legal disputes about almost anything, Victor. So maybe there's a balance here in all the, I guess, the rules that FIFA has imposed. But this gives you an idea, friends, of the way we started. And let's start with the early games before we talk about the way we just saw one of the goats of our sport, which is Lionel Messi, scoring a hat trick, his first hat trick, by the way, in World Cup history, Victor. But let's talk a little bit.
Amazingly enough.
Yeah, surprisingly, but it's just been amazing what he's done, and it's almost too easy sometimes when you watch him play. But the day started with France Senegal, and you can see from the standings both France and Norway picking up full points in convincing victories over their respective opponents. France taking on Senegal and Norway taking on Iraq. Victor, without a doubt, I think that French team, again led by Kylian Mbappe with 2 goals, but a better team in general. I think it was a fair result. Senegal was interesting. What do you think of that result?
Yeah, probably not surprising, but I think Mbappe, he's one of these guys that he's going to be looked to provide an important result. I think that's kind of what we assume with all these World Cups, right? Who's going to show up? Who's going to take, the title of being the star of the tournament? And sometimes it's a surprising name. Sometimes it's the usual suspects. And in this case, Mbappe getting it done in this first game. And kind of, France, they're looked to be dominating. They were up to nothing. And then Senegal finally sort of wakes up or finds one in the back of the net late, where you think maybe they could make it interesting, maybe they could tie, but Mbappe takes control of the game immediately right after.
Literally,
in the next minute, you can see it there, scores a goal from outside the box. So it's tremendous to put it away, to seal the 3 points, and that's what a superstar has to do. They have to be imposing. They have to take control of games like this. And that's why France is one of the favorites, because they got a player like that.
A player that can change matches, that can make all the difference. And Victor, we saw that in 3 matches so far. The 3 matches played today on the 6th day of the World Cup. We saw it with Norway and Erling Haaland. Without a doubt, his first 2 goals, by the way, of his World Cup career. He's still young, 25.
Yeah, because this is his debut.
His debut, which to many of us was surprising. Really, when I was analyzing, I was like, "You're right." Norway, has been 18, 20 years?
They haven't been able to qualify.
Exactly.
Part of that was because of the rigor of the European qualifiers and because there weren't as many spots available. Now with the expanded tournament, now you can get a few more stars in, and that's why, I think this tournament sort of benefits. I think in previous World Cups, we've sort of dwelled on the players that weren't going to be there, the players that were, the world was going to miss out on because they weren't there with their nations.
Right.
In this case, we get Erling Haaland, and again, I believe, his father used to play for Norway, and he was in the last World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. That Norway was in USA 94, if I'm correct. And you could see it was a bit of an emotional moment when he scored the goal and put him up. The moment also here, one of them, sort of similar to we had in Houston with Curacao, Iraq ties it. And you think it's going to be, one of these surprising results. But again, superstars do what they need to. Holland gets the winning goal. Norway puts it away and puts it out of reach, I should say. And Norway also, again, because of just like the Scottish fans that have been waiting for a long, long time to see their team in the World Cup. You see the color in the stands. You see, with the rowing. You see them doing it in escalators around town.
It's amazing, Victor.
Yeah. So, yeah. What else can you say? And again, I'll mention this going back to Mbappe, and I'll put Holland in here too. Make no mistake, this is kind of like Pulisic. Pulisic had a similar thing where maybe life with their clubs wasn't all that rosy this year. And certainly Holland, because, Manchester City, I was almost about to make a mistake there.
Be careful with that one.
Manchester City.
Someone will jump on you about that one. Don't mention that other team.
Manchester City, they not getting the Premier League, so maybe it's a bit of a disappointment. Obviously, not in the Champions League hunt at the end as well. Obviously, the criticism with Mbappe, he left PSG. All of a sudden they're winning Champions Leagues, and he's not getting it done at Real Madrid. And Pulisic, we're a bit of a tough season at Milan. It's sort of a fresh start here in the summer for these players. They're coming in obviously in form because they're coming off a season. But make no question, they want to win a championship here. And in the Ballon d'Or race, yeah, usually it's a Champions League if that kind of wins it for you, but not in World Cup years. In World Cup years, that Ballon d'Or pretty much goes to the World Cup champion. And don't
Absolutely.
think those guys aren't thinking, obviously for the pride for their countries,
For history.
but
Yeah.
also for history and to put themselves among the greats of the sport. Because for as much as the Champions League is great, there's one trophy that really matters, and the one trophy that everybody wants in this sport. That's the FIFA World Cup.
Absolutely. It's a coveted prize, and many players, many great players. You look at Johan Cruyff, he never won a World Cup, Victor. That's an example. I think he was robbed
And a
few
lot of these
times.
players,
Yeah.
they would trade Champions Leagues, they would trade Premier League titles, they would trade, all that. They would trade it away for a World Cup championship.
Absolutely. So that's what happened in Group I this afternoon. Well, morning and afternoon. Then we got into the late game, and let's talk about Group J and what we just watched a few minutes ago. Argentina soundly defeating Algeria and rising to the top. Victor, once again, he makes it look so easy. Lionel Messi.
MLS's Lionel Messi,
MLS
shining on the
Lionel
global
Messi.
stage.
Yeah. Thank you for that segue. I like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the league, I mean, why not? I mean, he's in your league. You should be promoting him more. Well, maybe people might say
I think
they promote him enough, but again, the hat trick is still making history. I believe he also became the oldest player to score in the World Cup to match that he was the youngest player to score in the World Cup.
20 years ago.
I should verify that stat.
20 years ago, Victor.
So, and obviously for the people in Kansas City or that were there at the match, a lot of Argentine passionate fans that made their way. There are many different stories, like we always see at a World Cup. There was some that biked all the way here, right? There was some fans that also did the travel on a car. They documented their whole way on their YouTube channel. Everybody has a story of how they got to Kansas City. And again, for the people that live there and wanted to go to a game and probably said, you know what, you're seeing one of the all-time greats, and you kind of find it hard, but you part with a couple $1,000 or whatever it costs to get in there.
Maybe more, yeah.
They probably say they got their money's worth tonight.
They certainly did. Victor, let's talk about the stars then shining. Mbappe with 2, Holland with 2, Messi with 3. Today, so far, and we have one more match, of course, Austria versus Jordan. No superstar on that team. We'll talk about CR7, another superstar that's playing in less than 24 hours here in our city of Houston. But this is the way it's supposed to be, right? These are the hey, this is supposed to happen versus an underdog versus Iraq finding a way to tie Norway and Holland not scoring in the match. So far, at least today.
Or Lamine Yamal
exactly.
for Spain the other day,
Sure.
even though he's still really young.
Right. Script going the movie going according to the script. Today going according to the script. The big star shining, as you said. That's what they're supposed to do if you're a superstar, if you have that kind of star power. They make it look so easy, Victor. And you mentioned Mbappe when there was a hope there for Senegal after getting the 2-1. Mbappe saying, no, we're done.
Tying it, stealing a point. Yeah,
Sure.
exactly. And there is, again, because they make it look so easy, maybe it's not as evident. There is a different pressure of playing for your national team. It's not... and it's a different feeling than playing for your club, right? So I think these all things come into play. That's why some players, it doesn't necessarily happen. There are players that are their stars of their teams and just don't have the team around them. But again, how many years did Messi get criticized for not living up to it with Argentina? And, obviously getting a hat trick tonight. There's also the controversy, and people will point to this. Should he have been red carded? Why didn't he? Special rules, all that thing. But I mean, this is all
protection. Yeah.
The flavor of the World Cup. Yeah. Well, I mean, and listen, there's people in Dallas that are probably like, it's fine. we're glad he didn't get red carded. That
Yeah.
it's for the best.
Yeah. So friends, what do you think? Have you watched the 3 matches so far? And let's talk about that, Victor. This is a Tuesday, by the way. Yeah, I get lost also. Some of us have to work for a living. How are you balancing keeping the games on? And today
You're
with
supposed
technology,
to quit work so you can watch the games.
exactly. Well, some people, I'm sure, find a way, especially with the rain that was predicted today. They pretty much said, "Listen, I'm going home early to watch these matches." It's like playing hooky, right, Victor? For many of us that have to keep working, for sure, you keep it on a monitor, but
Yeah.
in many other ways. How are we taking in these games? Victor, you and I are privileged to be able to be at stadiums and to follow games, and we make that part of our routine. But for many people who have a real job, if you will, they can't sneak out. Now, a lot of people work remotely these days, Victor, so life has changed.
Hey, listen, there's some people that have it better than us. All right. I don't know if you've heard Eddie. I believe it's Eddie Mendoza. I hope
Uh-huh.
I'm not getting his name by mistake, because again, with all the things in my mind these days, the super fan here from Houston, part of the Real Madrid Peña,
Yeah.
and he's going to I don't know how many games. Has done all these TV interviews locally, and listen, that's also again, this is there are people that plan for this, that save up, that make it, summer to remember. And when this one's over, there's going to be people that start planning the next one, especially because it's going to be a special occasion, an anniversary. Um, and it's going to be 6 countries for that same reason, right? It's going to get started in South America, where that's the first World Cup was, between games between Paraguay, Argentina, and wow, I'm forgetting the other country. Somebody's gonna be mad at me.
Colombia,
But
no?
no, I think Colombia was supposed to have it, but then they kind of missed out. Um,
It's gonna
I
bother.
want to.
It's gonna bother Victor.
Is it
He's got to
maybe
figure it
Chile?
out.
It's gonna bother me. But then the other 3, I mean, the main ones are Europe, right? With Spain, Morocco, and Portugal. So again, for people saying I'm gonna skip this one. I'm not gonna spend $1,000 on tickets. I'd rather save up, go to Spain for the next one, and hopefully tickets cheaper then.
Why not? Why not? And you're right. A lot of people have been planning this, Victor. Not the a week out, a month out, or even 3 months out, but years in saving, years, and that speaks to the passion, Victor. Look,
Uruguay,
Uruguay.
obviously,
How can we
where the
forget?
first World Cup. I wasn't sure.
It's been a long day already, Victor. So you are forgiven. So friends, how are you taking in these games? Are you like Victor and I sitting down? I plan my meals, Victor, really around, so at least I can take a little bit of time to focus. Otherwise, I keep it in the
Yeah.
background, kind of checking stats. But the other point I was trying to make is people working remotely, I
You don't
think
got
is
watch
easier.
parties at it's been raining, I guess. Maybe
It's
not.
been raining, so yeah, the watch parties may be difficult, Victor. But technology now allows you to sneak in your phone. There's different ways you can consume the product.
You're taking a lot of bathroom breaks. Is that what?
Well, I take those anyway now at my age, Victor. But yes, no.
You could get away with it, with being elderly and whatnot.
Thank you, Victor, for that. I appreciate that. Hey, he was just mean to me, wasn't he? So we'd love to hear from you about how you're consuming the product, whether you're doing it in English and Spanish. I have to sometimes turn the volume down, Victor, so it doesn't matter what language. It's the images. But today, actually, I was with a group of people when it appeared that Algeria had scored a goal, which was then denied early on in this last.
Yeah, and
this
then
last match.
Argentina had scored one before that.
Exactly.
Yeah, when I looked, and the score was still 0-0.
But I jumped and I can imagine people at their non-soccer world jumping and screaming, and I think we all do a little bit of that, right? Cheering for the underdog in this case, or just watching a beautiful place come together. I think that's the beauty of it. Not that we're doing anything sneaky, right? This is a once every 4 years kind of thing, and I think many employers understand that, Victor. Obviously, you have to still do serious things. You can't do
Are
this
they
in
having the
court.
company meeting at a bar somewhere?
Probably. And why wouldn't they, right? That's the way to do it. Victor, how do you see this wearing on people? Because The non-soccer today, I was around some non-soccer
Where?
fans. They're asking the good questions and then talking about, well, so is when does it finish? And when we talked to them about this is just the beginning, and there are 3 to 4 matches per day, it dawned on them, wow, that's a lot of work. I mean, that's again to the cliche of saying that's like today's 4 Super Bowls in one day. Let's use that cliche. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of energy to focus on that too for people.
Yeah, and that's why when we're talking about the organization of this tournament, I mean, that's a lot of cities putting in the same type of efforts, all the security around it. Just today we're seeing something here in Houston about there's people that have been flying drones close to the Fan Fest, and they've been getting caught. And I don't know if they're going to get a federal punishment or if they're just going to get a slap on the wrist. But yeah, this is serious stuff. This is a big time tournament. It's the most watched tournament globally of a single sport, and again, it tugs at so many heartstrings. I would say in a similar way to the Olympics, but maybe in a deeper way, because I think in Olympics it's not knocking those athletes, but I think sometimes there you have the underdog stories where it's a tougher hill to climb, right? To be the gold medal, whereas in soccer it's a whole team. What they say, like everything's even on the field, right? Even if you have the most talented team. I mean, again, Cape Verde's result, getting a 0-0 draw against Spain, that was a huge result for the country, and that brings so much passion. And it's one of those results that makes you start believing about, why not start thinking about getting another result and get into the next round, and how far can you go? And again, kind of like the NCAA tournament for those that watch American sports, and that's why I think soccer is kind of the sport that blends everything else together, because you get a little bit of everything. It depends which way you dissect it.
Victor, I think the word that was used in the coverage that I was following, half English, half Spanish, jumping around today with the Argentina versus Algeria match, was that for Argentina and Argentina fans, this is more of a religion. And I don't use, and I agree with that. I don't use that word lightly. This isn't just about a casual connection to, as maybe the Olympics is. I'm supporting the Stars and Stripes. Many people do. I don't know who's going to run the 100 meters. I don't know who's going to do the decathlon, for instance. With a religious approach, that means you're aware and you're affected by emotionally, mentally, even physically, by what the team does or doesn't do, by the expectations, by that pressure, and the elation. Victor, you see it in the Norwegian fans you mentioned, the French fans today, the Argentine fans in Kansas City. It is an emotional moment where your pride, your national pride, your intellectual pride is reinforced. And then when you don't win, when the success isn't there that you expect, then you get depressed. I bet you there's studies, I can't quote one, where a team that's not
your world
winning
revolves around
exactly.
these teams.
It's a religious approach where finances don't matter, relationships don't matter. Now, there's a fine line. And if I'm objective, Victor, of being a fan, a fanatic, someone that blindly just follows, versus someone that's taking it in for what it is. It's entertainment, it's fun, it should be. But there are lines that are crossed. You mentioned Colombia in 1994 World Cup, Victor. This means a lot to many people.
It is. It's serious stuff. And again, there's people that grew up their whole lives. It's the only sport they know, they love. I mean, that doesn't mean they can't get into other sports, but it's never going to match what this is. And I think there's even out there. Well, there is a saying. I don't know.
Does it translate?
I'm not going to say word for word, but I'm going to paraphrase it. I mean, you can change your wife, but you can't change your club, or in this case, your country, right? Your team,
national team. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but like you said, and I think it's not just in South America. I think the Europeans feel it as well. I would say everywhere else, because it's number one sport. It's a primary sport in most countries in Africa, Asia, um, everywhere in North America that's not the U.S. But I think there's more and more people in the U.S. They're starting to, um, again, because maybe it's so, maybe it was so much of the, um, the soccer mom culture. I know that's maybe not the best term for it, but where it's just kind of like for the suburbs families, right? And I think now more people are seeing it for what it is around the world. It's the people sport, kind of like what baseball is for the United States.
It, it is,
It's sometimes Go ahead. Yeah.
Victor. It is that. But you know what? It's also competition. And what I mean by that, think if Iran were playing the United States, there are literally lives being lost because of the conflict between our countries, right? So it's almost a way to get back at smaller countries beating the big countries. You remember the Falkland Islands?
Yeah, no, it
England
is a great
versus
equalizer.
Argentina.
We talked about it.
Exactly. That's
If Iran and the U.S. were to face off, yeah, absolutely. You bet it's going to mean a lot to Iran, probably more than what it means to the United States, and all that comes into play. And it could certainly no. There's European countries when they face off, it's a conflict.
it's a war. It's a war
you gotta
in
watch
many ways.
yeah.
Right? Yeah, I hate to use that word lightly.
You got to watch for
because
fans fighting and violence and yeah, absolutely. And that's also another reason why I think hosting it in the U.S. From as much as many people might not think it's a soccer country, I mean that's a plus too, right? Or I mean, not as much as the other ones because you don't have the law agencies, right? The local law enforcement having a skin in the game in a sense, right? They're not one team or the other. Because I mean, all that stuff again, what we just talked about, all that blends in with every fabric of life for all these other countries into government, I mean, not long ago, the president of Argentina was a former president of Boca Juniors.
correct.
To give you an example, right?
It really is life in many ways. Victor, we're living it here in Houston. There's already been match number 1 that took place between Deutschland and Curacao at Houston Stadium. We also call it NRG. But Victor, tomorrow, it's really kind of the continuation and I would say another opportunity for many maybe who haven't experienced it to experience World Cup fever. Tomorrow, Portugal taking on the Les Leopards, if I'm trying to say correct in French, and I know I probably butchered it.
No.
The Democratic Republic of
He's from the Congo, by the way.
the Congo. You're right.
Kembe.
That's right. May he rest in peace, right?
May he rest in
May
peace.
he rest in pease. Dikembe Mutombo. Exactly.
The late Dikembe Mutombo.
The late Dikembe Mutombo. Wow. What?
I think the Rockets would have done something with this. We always talk. Well, I always talk about the missed marketing
connection. Yeah, if at all possible. Victor, tomorrow at the stadium, a noon kickoff at Houston Stadium. What do you expect, especially after game number 1, that we saw the for a moment the 1-1 tie? This is another David versus Goliath type setup, correct?
I expect Cristiano Ronaldo to try to score a hat trick and match Messi for what he did tonight.
Now he has to, right?
And I think that's what we all want to see. But no, obviously, in the overall scheme of things, Portugal being one of the favorites to win the whole thing, you think they would resolve this. Maybe not in the matter that Germany did against Curacao, but you would think they win this. They win this. When I say convincingly, I don't want to say like a 5-0 win, but put it out of reach or take control of the game. Maybe in a similar way of what France did today or Norway, right? Where I mean, it's going to be competitive there for the beginning because the Congo can do something athletically. And obviously I think they're going to like their chances, but at some point Portugal has to take control of the game and get the 3 points.
We've talked about the arrival of both teams. This was a few days back. The Leopards at the hotel being received.
They've been based out of Houston.
They are, and I think that's an important piece.
Since the weekend.
Absolutely, and they came in sharp. They've been training, well received from all accounts, Victor, by by Houston, the crowds being there, the crowds being aware of who they are. Yes, they're the underdog going into certainly the Portugal match, but it's great again to see different people, different cultures, different approaches to the game coming together. And I was by the way impressed by their dress. That I need one of those bags, whatever those big bags are. Those are awesome.
That's right there up your alley.
I could
I'm sure you can get Valenti to
sure
make something for you.
maybe right. That could be my valise
They,
as I walk
they
into
have
the
to have
stadium.
do they have a World Cup collection with
They
the
do. They do. You know
World Cup
what?
in town?
I thank you for reminding me of that. We're going to have to be pushing the Valenti World Cup collection because there is one. We'll have that on our next show. And we also wanted to show a little bit, and we're courtesying KHOU Channel 11 here in Houston. I believe this is in the medical center area. I'm not going to give away the hotel. But this is the arrival of
It's
Portugal.
the Intercontinental.
Okay, he went ahead and did it. Of CR7 and the Portuguese team. But look at the fans. Look at the people waiting, Victor. And
It's amazing.
Many,
I mean, this
Portuguese
is soccer.
fans.
This is what it transmits.
But I mean, you don't
many of them live here.
Sure.
Many of them are from out of town that live in the United States or Mexico, and they're in town for the game, and they want to get a glimpse of Ronaldo, and they were there hoping that he might stop and sign a couple of autographs, and they would be among the lucky ones to get a few autographs.
And think about the power of that. Think about the superstar power. Today our theme is that the stars were shining with Mbappe, with Haaland, with Messi, and then of course CR7 playing in Houston. This, as Victor mentioned earlier in the show. I think the first time that he's ever played here, certainly with the Portuguese national team. So it's a very special moment. And Victor, you talked about the logistics. I literally have watched some videos online where for both teams, it's like a presidential escort, meaning they're closing down 610.
For everybody. I think every team has the same.
Correct. So think about that level. Also of security. Look, we talk about how this is a marathon. You cannot let your guard down, Victor. I see security, our finest protecting, and I think that's an important piece. I believe every national team and delegation need to feel the comfort of that and focus on what their job is. But this speaks also, Victor, quickly about beyond seeing and watching Cristiano Ronaldo, which we're about to catch here shortly, all the people that are working to make this a success, and there's so many people behind the scenes working, planning, strategizing. We need to give them a lot of credit. And Victor, here you'll see Cristiano Ronaldo here shortly stepping off that bus, and that's the glimpse that people wanted. He is a world superstar like Messi, and it's just amazing to see him here in our city of Houston.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, the moment that people were there for just to get a glimpse. Hoping he would stop. You know, if you go and find this video, it's on the KHOU's YouTube channel, and I mean, you can probably or some of the reporters that have put this up on social media. When Ronaldo, and here he comes, we don't have with sound obviously, but when he gets off the bus, obviously everybody gets riled up.
Wow!
And everybody starts doing the "soo," right? And it's funny because some people that don't know about it, right? It's just casual, maybe residents of Houston, and they're seeing this video, and then I see comments of, "Whoa, why are they booing him? Why is everybody booing him?" Because it sounds like boos to, to somebody who wouldn't know what's going on. But
Sure.
all those fans are dedicated, or are fans for years. I believe also the first time in 12 years Ronaldo has been in the States. So it's been a long time. And again, some fans are lucky to be able to go overseas and go to a Real Madrid game or Juventus. Others, they wait around for when one of these teams comes to the United States for the summer friendlies, and they pay a lot for those because it's it's something stateside. It's something they can go to. It's something. It's in the summer, which is in vacation. So again, for the World Cup, I mean, I have to think if you're a father of kids who are big Ronaldo fans,
It's a dream come true.
and if you have the money,
Oh yeah,
then I'm sure you're making it happen because I mean, again, he's in his 40s now, and it's probably the last time that he's going to play. And again, in a World Cup match, and particularly if you live in this town and this is your hometown, significant meaning, and he's here for two of them. So
Absolutely.
we got a
Yeah.
little lucky in that sense.
Yeah, in many ways. Thanks again to KHOU. We're courtesying them for that video. There's so much action going on, Victor, around town, around
Yeah,
the United
I'll add real
States.
quick.
Yeah, please.
I put this up, but I'll share it here. Um, and it's almost like it's one of those like long shot dreams, wishes, right? I mean, I would always think, oh, man, what's it gonna take for like the English language coverage, the stations, the TV stations, because they obviously have the power of um, reach and all that stuff. But and they do it for the other sports teams, the other leagues. I'm like, man, what's it gonna take for um, these efforts to be basically what we see everything around the world? And now today we got KHOU waiting outside the team hotel so they can get Ronaldo in Portugal coming into town. So I mean, we talked about it. This might have been an eye opener. This is going to be a game changer for the sport, at least for a month. And there's some proof. We're starting to see it across the board.
Look, I think more and more people, and certainly in the, I still call it, we'll use the phrase mainstream media. Of course, that's changing with influencers, Victor, with the proliferation of what we do. We're certainly no competition for Channel 11. But the point is, I think within that structure, you're now having more people aware of the sport, maybe many that have played it, many actually that know that CR7 plays for Portugal and also plays for a club team, for different club teams, of course, from Man U and everywhere he's played. My point is that educational process. And that's one of the things I've seen change, Victor, since 1994 to today. The sophistication of the American consumer, of the American media, and that continues to improve. Now, there used to be an edge, Victor, with Spanish language media who, because of our natural, our natural acercamiento, closeness to the sport, we were a little bit better versed in this. But that's changing now, Victor. It's no longer, hey, Spanish, they're going to have better coverage because they know the sport well. I like in a way that there is this little fight. And I think I'll predict something, Victor. I've been predicting this for years, that at some point someone's going to say, no, there's just one entity that has the rights versus splitting it up. I think as long as everyone keeps making money, I think we're good. But when you see the Spanish language creeping above in markets like Houston, there may be a pullback there, but that's maybe a story for another day. My point is the sophistication, the coverage continues to improve, and kudos to stations like Channel 11 and others that realize the reach that this has, Victor. We're about to find out about reach not only tomorrow in the stadium, but Saturday morning, Victor, when Holland gets here. Talk about there are people that I've already talked to that are going to do the 2-mile walk from Rice to the
TV
stadium.
stations are going to grab onto that.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, and part of it too is also hiring people that know the sport, that can influence. Again, I think a lot of this is naturally because of the World Cup, because I think there has been people naturally in some of these stations that know the sport, but maybe weren't asked to cover it, or that just wasn't their main job. And this month they're showing off the repertoire there, right? Carolina Sanchez at Fox 26 and
great job.
And the sort of the pregame, the on the field coverage they've had at the World Cup.
Her and Anthony.
Anthony.
Yeah, they did a great job on. Forgive me for interrupting you, sir. This past Sunday.
Yeah, no, and then having Nate Griffin outside. I mean, and they, that whole station. I'll mention this real quick. These days have also kind of, in my mind, I'm thinking of all the people that have given to the sport over the years. Obviously, one of them, Maggie McKeithen, who was a producer at Fox, and I, gotta wonder if she would have been involved in some of this, and she would have loved to have been in this. Obviously, the late Grant Wall is another one that around the country, from Kansas, right? I believe in the state of Kansas or Kansas City, and tonight with Messi scoring. a hat trick in that
He's up there smiling, Victor.
first World Cup hat trick.
He's up there smiling.
Yeah, yeah, and even the other people around. Again, I go to Fred Fowler, who maybe wasn't the biggest soccer fan, but an editor at the Chronicle that gave the sport some respect. That maybe didn't get to witness the this live in person, but all people that have put their granito de arena, put their little piece of what they put forward to the sport and helping it evolve and to now see it where it is today.
Yeah, it's really a moment to reflect on those things, Victor. And look, I think the moments or the times of soccer haters, I think that's disappearing. There's still some people entrenched on hate.
Well, they're still out there,
Oh,
but
yeah,
I think now they realize that they're the
Use the
silent
word.
minority.
Yeah, yes, the silent minority. The world has changed. Certainly, the United States has changed. And Victor, I'll say it, in Houston, it's changed. We are an international city. We are a diverse community, and that means that most of us have some kind of direct attachment to the sport because we've played it, we've lived it, and we have influences from our families that drive us to the sport. Now, here's the key: that because we love soccer, it doesn't mean we have to forget all the other sports. I love college football. Victor, I like seeing families that are as comfortable in a World Cup stadium as they are at Kyle Field watching A&M take on. I got to mention a good team here. Let's say a Texas A&M matchup, right? Or being at the Cotton Bowl for OU Texas, and
Right.
feeling comfortable and having history behind that. One doesn't preclude you from being a fan of the other, and I think that's one of the things many of us are learning.
Yeah, I'll mention one other one. Luis Ortiz, who used to be at Telemundo locally, and now he's at KHOU, and it's part of that coverage today.
Yeah.
That again, it's just an easy transition now to just do it in English. So, again, I'm curious to see where it goes once this month is over, and once it goes back to, at least locally, the Dynamo and Dash. Just because I think. And will it change, for example, for international matchups? Next time Mexico comes to town, are they going to get this type of treatment? The U.S. Are we going to get more international friendlies? Because there's, we'll see. We'll see what it all turns into.
Victor, it's on the map, and it's affecting so many different parts of our city, of our culture. Not only our sports culture, but just our economy. And again, it's opening eyes, and I think that's a huge part of hosting. Victor, let's quickly go before we wrap up to a game that's about to start, by the way. So we're wrapping up our coverage for today, but there's one more match to take place out in San Francisco Bay Area. I'm watching here on the monitor, but Austria taking on Jordan. Maybe not a sexy matchup, Victor, and it's late at night, but like every match, it has its consequences. And that can directly affect what's going on in this group. Although Argentina with the victory, the 3 goals, the hat trick by Messi, obviously leading the pack.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I mean, if one of these teams can take a draw, I know it's a tall task against Argentina, but I mean, they got to be thinking if they do they got to set themselves up for something like that. That would be a way to win the group. But certainly, I mean, I think they all sort of expect Argentina to take it. But second in the group is up for grabs. It's anybody's race. So absolutely, this is an important matchup, Austria and Jordan, for their personal hopes. Because this might be, again, even though there's a third place team, you get a direct move forward with the second place. You don't have to be one of the 8 best.
Absolutely. So an opportunity, the last match of the day. Let's talk about tomorrow. We already mentioned in Houston, Portugal taking on Congo, but another very exciting matchup to me. And is that the Ghana flag? I think we're going to have to talk to our producer, Mr. Producer. England and Croatia.
We got to send them back to World Geography.
Please. We got to figure that one out. That's
not Panama's flag either, by the way.
Oh my goodness, he's got 2. Oh yeah, Panama. Wow, that's an interesting setup there. Anyway, we'll talk to Mr.
That's not
Producer.
Uzbekistan, and that's not Colombia. So.
Wow. So I think he's in another planet, or maybe I hit the wrong button. We got 1. We got 2 out of the 4 right.
We got four. We got four. We got halfway there.
We got halfway there. So
We'll have these fixed by tomorrow.
yes, we certainly hope so. Victor, we've got to go, but the big
We got the Texas matchups, right? And that's another one where it's like the other day where, I mean, they're back to back. That to me, that's kind of the shame of it. I wish fans, well, whatever you may think of the tickets, I mean, I think there's fans that if they're already spending for one game, they would try to get both in, if that was a possibility. But in this case, unless you can teleport to Dallas, you're kind of out of luck there.
Anyway, tomorrow, interesting matchups, Victor, and also we'll talk about your travels soon because you're going to be heading down to Mexico to cover a match there, and there's still a long way to go. We'll have some special guests. By the way, a little bird told me that El Jefe will be with us tomorrow, the one and only.
Okay.
Yeah, Enrique Vasquez, I'm
El
told.
Jefe.
Yeah, El Jefe, finally finding
All
time
right.
for us little people. So we'll see if El Jefe shows up. Victor, the last word before we go.
Obviously excited for what tomorrow is. I mean, we had a great day. I mean, for what it was, the first World Cup match in Houston. You know, I know Germany has a passionate fan base, but I think it's different, right? I think every nation is different. I think they're also a little reserved in some sense, to where maybe and again that they were maybe just in and out for that game. Portugal will have 2 games here, so there's going to be some fans that stick around for the week. I think we've started to see some of those fans. That might lift the vibe a little bit around the city for all the bars that are saying that they're not getting enough love. Obviously with the Netherlands coming here later in the week and Sweden, and then obviously the matchup that has gotten more interesting now, Cape Verde and Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
And then again, we still got to figure out who's coming into town for the knockout matches. So look, this is all over the course of the next week, by the way, these group stage matchups. So
it's coming
by the end of
fast.
next week, I mean, I think we're done with the group stage. So it's going to go by fast, and it's going to go by hopefully with a lot of great results that will write Houston down in history for some of these teams.
And hopefully all of us can enjoy that. Victor, it's always great to be with you. Thank you for your time, your knowledge, your passion, and certainly your contribution to this, what we're calling now Live at Night Soccer Talk. So, friends, on behalf of our production crew, on behalf of Victor and Araiza, I'm Alex Parra. Please take care of yourselves, be safe, and have a great night. And we'll see each other tomorrow evening right here, live at Night Soccer Talk. Good night.